Okay, we're back in the world of Kerbal. We're going to be looking at some escape velocities and going on a trans-lunar injection. And hopefully we get it right. I've messed this up every once in a while. We're going to use a giant rocket they have pre-built here, known as the Acapello. It's really like the Apollo rockets, which are the Saturn V's. It's got this huge burn tube here with fuel. It's got a lander module up here for the moon. And it's got an emergency escape system up top. And it should be everything to get us to the moon, land on it, and back. We'll see if we can get all of that in. So let's go to the launch pad real quick, and we'll test a few things out here before we kind of get started. And you're going to see me quick save here a bunch because things can go sideways pretty quick if you're trying to do this. First thing I'd like to point out is up at the top, there's this amazing launch escape system. The Apollo rockets for the Saturn V. The crew is up here at the top of like a 34, 36 story building, something like that. And if something goes wrong underneath them and this starts to explode, they're going to explode shortly. So this emergency system does this. You go, emergency, and you hit a button, and you get thrown off of the rocket. Very traumatic, but when you do this, you can trigger some parachutes, and this giant explosion takes place over here, and you come down over here. It's a nice way to save your astronauts who are risking their lives to do this, and you don't have to train them again. Anyways, so let's just go back to the launch pad, and let's bring this sucker up and put it into orbit at first. Okay, so there's our quick save, and what we need to remember is that I need to get this to 50 meters per second before I start my first tip, and I need to get to 150 before I start my second tip down here. Okay, so my thrust is all the way up. I got my 3 astronauts ready to go. My maneuver's up, and launch. Now notice how slow this takes off. Even though we've got 5 gimbal engines down here so that they can kind of like turn and pivot, this rocket is so big and so heavy that it's moving upward very slowly to begin with. It's just getting off this launch pad. And the fact that these are gimbal mounted is one of the features that allow the Saturn V rockets to actually function. So now I can begin my tip. Moving fast enough to get some air resistance against me so that I have some control over my rocket. I actually need that air resistance to control this rocket. It's so large. And now at this point, we should, because of the torque pulling it down and rotating it, we should kind of just be good to let it go for a little bit. This at 150 is going to be somewhere down at 70. And now we should just be able to let this kind of go and have a nice gravity-assisted launch for a little while. We see that we're kind of tipping this way, we're kind of gliding but going up, so it's kind of a weird look to the schematic. We kind of want something more akin to this to minimize air resistance, but if we do this, notice how we start tipping down. That's just because this sucker's so heavy we need to burn off some of this fuel. When we try to get to 25,000, we're going to make sure we're at the 30 down here. It's not an exact science for what we're doing because I'm just piloting this by hand. But it makes for, in the game, a pretty good launch for a gravity-assisted launch. Okay, so we got 5K to go. We'll start turning this down. Our apoapsis is opening up nicely. Still could use some more speed here. Notice how we have a lot less exhaust here because there's less atmosphere to kind of interact with. We're still getting the thrust off of all the burn. I am not turned down nearly as far here. I should probably just bend this way over, because this is already up to like 70 and I need to get going sideways as fast as possible. Okay, so we've got this at 80. We're just going to cut thrusters here. And hopefully we'll be good for a maneuver node here. We just circularized the orbits. That's a crazy circularization. That's a lot better right there. And we should be good to hit this in about a minute. So we'll launch this at 15 seconds. Really about 17 seconds in order to get that proper burn time. Getting ready. Back down the time. 3, 2, burn. Because counting is difficult. And now we should just be opening up this orbit right here, just like we did whenever we were creating that orbit. We can see our delta V here is being matched. Opening up that orbit is what we want. Got 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Disengage. Okay, so we got a nice orbit. Maybe a little bit more burn to open that up. That's nearly circular. That's pretty nice right there. Okay, so we got a nice circular orbit here. Let's just quick save that. We'll orbit around the Kerbal here forever. What we're trying to do, though, is we're trying to get out here to the Mun. And to do this, we need to increase our velocity in this orbital path so that we open up what looks to be nearly circular. It's pretty circular looking at that. We need to extend one of these sides out so it reaches the Mun. Now, whatever side we burn on in a prograde direction, so the direction of our velocity, the other side of this ellipse is going to open up. So if I burn at the periapsis, the closest approach, in a prograde direction, so in the direction I'm traveling, so I'm increasing that speed, I'm going to open up like this, okay? And if we take a look at this here, as I open this up, eventually I'll be at the distance of the moon, and all sorts of kind of wonky stuff begins to occur, okay? Where I can kind of get captured right there, which is kind of nice. If I don't like the capture there, then I can burn somewhere else. And notice if I burn somewhere else, I open up in a different spot. Maybe I get captured in a different way. Maybe I shoot past the moon or the Mun. And I just got to kind of be aware of that. So you just kind of look at what's kind of going on. You can move this around. This is something that gets a little bit technical in the real world because the way the game works is whenever you get captured or you have an encounter with the other planet, it begins to ignore where you came from. It ignores all the gravity here. That's not really true. You have to actually encounter all the gravity of all the things going on and, you know, what could you mitigate, what you not care about. So it makes it a little bit more complicated in real life. And the other thing in real life is, you know, if you want to use the least amount of fuel, you know, you have to kind of time when this is going to hit you. Like if we burn now in 22 minutes, this is going to travel all the way around like that, and it's going to take us a day and 4 hours to get there. But, you know, if I'm shooting for one of these distant planets here, then maybe it's going to be better where I'm directly across from it for a home and transfer orbit, in which case I need to wait for my planet to get around and be directly opposite, and when's that going to happen? So timing these kind of things out and where you are and when you can launch can kind of be annoying, but it's what you have to do in order to do this. The other thing that's going to be kind of weird for us here is whenever we set this launch trajectory up, we did this with our 5 liquid fuel engines, and they're going to burn for 31 seconds. I don't know if I have enough fuel to burn for 31 seconds. I might not. In which case, this is going to get updated as we begin our launch, because I'm going to have to drop these fuel tanks and start something else burning, so we might get something a little weird here. So we'll quick save in case something goes wrong. Can't quick save in real life, though. You're just stuck in space. So we'll see what happens there. Our burn time is 31 seconds, so we're going to burn whenever it says T minus 15 seconds. That's about half of 31, so 15 before, 15 after for the full burn. And we might actually want to burn closer to 20 seconds, 25 seconds before, because we're going to lose these engines and things are going to kind of get weird. So we're shooting in the prograde direction. That's going to be the direction of our maneuver. And our ship does not want to rotate easily. This thing hates rotating. It's actually going to be a bit of a pain in the butt. I might not make it in time. Oh, come on. Come on, you can do it. 14 seconds before I want to burn. Get there. Get there. Oh. to burn like right now, but I can't. I'm not in the right module spot. Get there, get there, get there, get there. Okay, we're a little behind on our burn. We should still be fine. Firing. Okay, now let's watch this and see what happens, because we're going to lose these engines in a second. So we're at 21 seconds for our burn. And our liquid fuel's gone. We're in the next one. We're at 14 seconds for our burn. So we lost all of this dead weight here, but we've got less burn going on. So 3, 2... Okay, did I overshoot that? Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so this should take us out, and we should have an encounter with the moon here. The issue is going to be when we get out there, can we keep in orbit there? Are we going to be able to orbit this sucker? Are we going to be able to play catch-up? So we quick save before this, so let's warp time forward. We'll speed up. It's really going to take our astronauts like a day in order to get out there. To get to our actual moon, it took our astronauts around 3 days to get there. So just imagine that. You're just out here in the emptiness of space for 3 days. Hope everything goes well. So we're traveling, we're traveling, we're traveling. Note, here's the moon. Here's the moon we're trying to interact with. But as we're moving away from Kerbal, it's still pulling on us. So we've been slowing down this whole time. So we're going to be moving real slow out here. And this sucker's just going to come up and catch us. Oh, I went way too fast, didn't I? Where the heck am I? I did it again, didn't I? Oh boy, I'm gonna accidentally escape like in half a second. I need to fix this. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Okay, I've got 40 seconds to figure out how to fix this. How can I fix this? Give me 2 minutes to fix this. Okay, so what's our trajectory? Oh my goodness, we're not even in a coplanar line. Oh, this is terrible. Where the heck am I? What the heck happened to me? How did I get slungshot out like this? Okay, let's change our lie like this. I'm never gonna be able to make that. We gotta reload this. This is bad. Where's that quick save? I moved too fast. There was a maneuver that needed to occur. That was bad. That's the danger of speeding up time. Okay, do I have my node set up? Okay, I've got my node set up. What the heck happened out there? Can we see? I have a feeling I like hit it and then I like spun around the planet and it just like slungshot me out. Because this is a half decent node here. Let's just do this real quick. Let's just double check to make sure I can bring... I'm just going to fire slightly normal here. So that we come into the plane of the moon. Okay. That'll be fine. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's get our ship aligned right to begin with. Remember, in real life, we don't get do-overs, children. Okay, I'm still pretty close to this. I'm gonna back it down so that I get to that maneuver nodule as quick as I can, which is so slow. Any day now. Any day. These green lines are satellite relays, or ground relays. And this is actually a theoretical crater that impacted on Kerbal at some point in the past. We can see the kind of crater shape. Or it could be a volcano. People think it's a crater, though. Okay, we're at our module. Got a 31-second burn that's going to change because everything's going to fall apart. And then we're going to burn this, and we're going to try to get it into that moon capture. And then we've got this thing going on, which is, I feel dangerous about that. Feel nauseous. 16 seconds I want to burn. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage burn. Let's wait for our fuel to drop and then everything's going to get weird. Burn out. Secondary burn. 15 seconds. We see this is opening up. Okay. Let's burn this just a little bit more. Okay. Let's see what goes on here. We'll try to quick save this and see what happens. Okay, now we're in the back where we're trying to warp out to the moon. And this is what's going to happen here. If we see out here, notice we're a little bit underneath at this point. It looks like we zip somehow around the moon, and then it slings us out. So whenever we get out here at some point, we're going to want to quickly address this issue. Yeah. So that should help us a lot right there. Can we get out and see that a little bit better? Let's wing our ship out there. We've got a lot of time. But see how we're a little bit underneath? That's what happened to us last time. We somehow got underneath this, then it slung us out like this in a slingshotting effect. So now that we're a little bit closer, let's just kill the clock. And let's fix our trajectory because we're a little bit underneath the moon. And let's just try to raise up. Wish I can get zoomed in on the moon itself, though. We're gonna have to raise up just a little bit on like a 1-second burn, and then we'll see what happens. Let's get us to that burn. Oh, nope. We need to get to that maneuver module, which could take us some time to get there, as we're slowly drifting through the depths of space. There's our moon. Okay, we've got our maneuver module now. Let's warp to whenever we're going to kick this up just a little bit. Try to get into a better situational orbit. And I'm only going to burn for about a second here, so just a light burn. And we'll see what happens with that. We're going to have to burn again when we get out there, because now we're kind of shooting up like this, and we're going to have to stabilize that in order to get around this. Okay, so let's see here if there's any maneuvers we can do in order to get a better... It looks right now that we're going to get the Mun encounter, but we're going to be a little bit behind it. So if we speed up a little bit, it looks like we'll have a slightly better Mun encounter, and then we'll be able to drop and shoot retrograde here to keep the capture of the orbit. So this looks like about a 3-second burn at this point. And then we'll see what happens. So let's go... maneuver module, which should be prograde, because that's all I picked. This will transfer over. If I was a better pilot, I wouldn't have to spend so much time doing this, and it would all be good in one shot. But I am what I am. We'll speed up to that warp point, so we can click this node. Time's ticking down, ticking down, ticking down. Boink. Boink, we're in target. Okay, so we should have something going on here. It's gonna get kind of weird, but we should be pretty good at this point. So let's quick save that. Let's move forward just a little bit in time. Because last time I overshot it and I warped us out into the nothingness of space. Notice how our moon is still behind us, but it's playing catch up because we're moving real slow out here. And as soon as I hit this Mun encounter, I'll be able to actually start triggering stuff with that planet. And then we'll be able to redo all of these orbital paths and kind of fix everything that we've got messed up. And we should have enough fuel to do all that, so let's see what's going on. And we should hit it about now. Okay, so now we are in the Mun's orbit, or the moon's orbit. This is how the game interprets things. It says, hey, look, now you're under this influence. And at the moment, what's going to happen is we are actually going to start being pulled back here. And it looks like we're going to hit this and then possibly get slungshot around. But it looks like we're going to hit it before anything else. We want to get into more of an orbit here. So let's set up a little maneuver so that doesn't happen. Well, one, we need to get this straightened out. This is a mess. So let's get this straightened out right now. Let's get this nice and level. Okay, so that's level. And then let's look at if we go radial out. And then let's brake. So I pulled this into a anti-normal direction, so we're going re-leveling our ellipse. So there it is, nice and level. It's much better. And then I'm slowing down so that the moon can catch us instead of slingshotting us away. And then I took us radially out in order to bring this point here just out into this line. And if I do this, I should have a decent orbit here. Let's orbit a little bit closer, though. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, this will be fine. This will be fine. Because what I'll be able to do here is when I get to the periapsis, I'll be able to slow down here and I'll bring the apoapsis back in. Okay, cool. Cool. So this is a 50-second burn, though. That's a lot of burn time. I should have enough for it, but I don't want to mess it up. So let's see what's going on. I should be good for it, though. Not the best maneuvering I've ever done. I need to burn it 25 seconds. We're at 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. T-minus 10. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Okay, now I got a 50-second burn, and I'm praying I have enough fuel in order to do this. Because a lot of things are changing up here in order to try to generate this orbit. And we're going to see what happens here. Looks like it's going to be close. Looks like it's going to be real close. This might be one of those we barely make it back home events. 20. Okay, we've at least been captured, which is nice. Okay, let's just hold this. Because we gotta capture now. Okay. We saved 7 seconds off our burn time, but we are captured, so what should happen now is we should be able to just cycle around the moon forever. Shroom. Shroom. Now, why am I doing this? Well, at some point in time, I want to get back home. And if you've noticed, as I go around the moon, it's rotating. I want this apoapsis side to be pointed in towards Kerbin. And the reason why I want that is so that when I launch the periapsis, I'll be able to launch out of it and get home easily. Now, there's two ways to kind of get this to work, depending on how you want to think about it. The one way is to do this in terms of this going from the periapsis and getting this apoapsis to point inward. The other way to do it is actually kind of a little weird. It's kind of counterintuitive. You use a gravity-assisted transit, just like we did coming off of Earth, but you do it so that when you go, you actually point this way on the moon, and that slows your velocity down a ton, slows your velocity down some of the most, and then you'll drop back into Kerbin. So if we did that, we could actually increase our velocity here, and as soon as you do that, pointing this way, notice how you slung. It's only a 2-second burn, but as soon as we do that, we get captured again by our home planet. So that's one of the most efficient ways to do this. We're going to try doing it in a slightly different way. We're going to try to bring the apoapsis inside and see if we can get an even shorter burn of like a second if we're lucky. And in reality, in real life, you have to contend with, you know, your Earth gravity and moon gravity and doing all sorts of stuff. The game's not doing that, so it kind of is a little bit artificial in that regard. But the only issue that happened is we had the lineup, but look where we're at. We're not here at the periapsis to make that launch, which kind of stinks. Kind of stinks for that. Notice as well as we can see the conservation of angular momentum. We're slow out here, and then shwoom, we're very fast in at the peri speed. Oh, I think we're going to get this one. That's a 1-second burn right there. You see that? 1 second on the burn clock. So 1 second will take us back home. We're going to get a Mun escape speed, and then we'll be good there. So yeah, it's actually even more efficient to burn it here. Let's see if we can get that on even smaller time. Nah, pretty much a burn around anywhere. Anywhere around here will be good. This is us, up here in the ship. And if, like I said, we burned here, it would bring us back home. We could do our retrograde velocity on the way in, and we'd be fine. But that's just how we can go on a translunar injection to get around a different object, and how we can make some little micro adjustments in order to do that. And notice, we are almost out of fuel here, but that's fine, because we don't need a lot of burn time to get back. The force of gravity to do this moon is very, very small. Almost all of our fuel was just getting off of the planet, and then another like half tank to get us out here. So kind of a neat thing. But we'll do some more stuff out here in future videos maybe. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this. It was a little long, a little different, had a little bit of a hiccup in it, but thanks for sticking with it and checking some of the stuff out. Let's take us on a quick pass onto the moon's surface. Let's see how close we can get to it. I can get real close to it if I crash. Here, this is a 1 second burn. We'll do this, and then that'll be the end of our video. For some reason, I cannot turn my engines back on. Oh, it's because I'm warping. Okay, so let's get this turn going. And let's see if we can collapse this orbit in to get a flyby. There should be a pretty cool flyby of the moon. Where is it? What is that? That's a big crater. Look at us, our little home. We're actually gonna get really close to it. We're gonna get to 17 kilometers. So this is drifting on the dark side. And then we're out. Yeah, I think we'll do a landing video. I'll need to get that going in a little bit. But yeah. So take it easy, everybody. Have a good one. If you're playing Kerbal out there, I hope you don't go too crazy trying to get everything to work and lose sight of your ship and everything. So, adios. Take it easy. Have a good one.